the #1 long-form writer that helps SEOs outrank competition at the click of a button using real-time research and NLP. Start ranking content today with contentatscale.ai.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
My name is Mathilde and I work as an SEO manager at Transact Denmark. In my talk today, I'm going to speak a little bit about TikTok SEO and how you can use it in your SEO strategy. At the end of my presentation, I have a case study for you of one of the biggest supermarket chains in Europe. So I'm so excited to share that with you. But first things first, what is TikTok? If you don't know what TikTok is, what the hell are you doing at this session? And where have you been living for the past 4 years? It is probably one of the most popular social media platforms at the moment, especially for Gen Z, and it is most certainly one of the most notorious ones, with all of the privacy discussions and child protection that's going on, and because of the potential banning of the platform in the US. TikTok is a Chinese-owned company owned by the company called ByteDance, and what makes TikTok especially special is it is tailored to each user. The feed on TikTok is not just dancing anymore, it's not just small children that's having a lot of fun, it is anything you want it to be. It is knowledge sharing, it is product recommendation, it's lip sync, it's everyday life, it's productions, and so on. If you want to know how to clean your oven, if you want to know how to do SEO, if you want to know where to eat in Brighton, you can find it all on TikTok. Every search query that you have, you can find it on TikTok, and you can find it in a content segment or a subculture or a talk that fits it. What makes TikTok unique is the feed, and the feed on TikTok is called the For You page. The For You page will show you content that you previously shown interest in, and a user can touch upon multiple talks or subcultures or rabbit holes in one sitting. So 30 seconds might not seem like a long time, but it is an extremely long time on TikTok, and you can touch upon multiple different talks in that short amount of time. The average user in Denmark normally spends around an hour on the platform each day, so 30 seconds is a huge amount of talks that you touch upon, but also during that 1 hour, that is a massive gathering of content you're getting exposed to. So I decided to test this. How many talks will I touch upon in 30 seconds? 11 different talks. I saw something about dogs, feminism, CrossFit, LGBTQIA, true crime, corporate, Tomorrowland, Game of Thrones, and of course some singing and dancing because it is TikTok. And of course also 2 in-feed ads. The funny thing about this is none of this is surprising to me at all. I see this on a regular basis. Sometimes it might be Game of Thrones, other times it might be Suits or some other TV show. Other times it might be corporate, and some other times it might be capybara TikTok, but that's obviously a thing sometimes. The algorithm will shift what I want to see each day and adapt to what mood I'm in. Some days I might want to see relationship stuff, other days I might want to see really depressing stuff, and the algorithm picks up on that immediately and shifts what I want to see. To give you an example of 2 of the biggest talks that we have book talk and we have clean talk. As you can see, book talk has a whopping 142.8 billion views under that one hashtag. So if you are serving products or services within these 2 hashtags, make sure you're using them on the platform. Book talk is mostly book recommendations and stuff like that, whereas clean talk is how to clean your oven, reorganize my fridge, and stuff like that. Now we know a little bit about TikTok and what it is, but what affects what a user sees on their FYP. To understand your algorithm, you have to understand that it works as a recommendation system. So it's going to recommend you your videos, and depending on how you interact with them, it decides whether it's going to show you more of that types of content. So when a user follows another user, when they like a video, when they share or save a video, or comment on a video, this is all going to impact the algorithm. So basically, it's when you interact with all of these icons on the side of the panel when you're in the For You page. Another thing that affects the algorithm is the video information. So the description, the captions, the sounds, the voiceovers, the hashtags, the effects, and the topics you're touching upon in your videos. So when you have a corporate TikTok, for example, and that hashtag is being used, that will be pushed for me, to me example. The third thing is the device and account settings. So what language you're speaking, what country you're based in, what type of device you're using, what categories you chose when you first sign up. And this is actually a quite funny one. I'm a Danish person living in Denmark, speaks Danish. I get a lot of Danish content, even though I don't like to see it. But as soon as I touched down here in the UK, I started getting content from UK creators. It doesn't mean that I don't receive any Danish content anymore, but as soon as TikTok knew that I touched down here, it began adapting to what I wanted to see or what it felt that might be more relevant for me. The fourth thing is the view time. If you have a video where a user sees the first 1 or 2 seconds of that video and decides to scroll past it, that will be a very strong signal to the algorithm that you did not like that type of content. So it's really important that when you do TikTok videos, that you make sure you are hooking your audience within the first 1 or 2 seconds in that video. If you do manage to keep the attention of the user and they watch the whole video through and through and watch multiple times, that will equally be a strong indication that the user really liked that type of content. And what the algorithm will do is it will either push the content or the talk, or it will push you as a creator, because it needs to figure out which of the two you actually liked. So keep this in mind and make sure you're hooking your audience within the first 2 seconds. Now we know a little bit more about the algorithm, so how does all of this combine with SEO? When doing TikTok SEO, we want to rank on the For You page. This is the most important place to be. We want to be in the talks of the users and what they want to see. We also want to rank on the internal search function on TikTok, because this is where users are searching for content that they like, but haven't been exposed to yet on their For You page. And lastly, of course, search engines. TikTok videos are getting indexed by Google, so we also have this as a priority. But our main priority is the For You page, and it always will be. On the For You page, if you're starting completely from scratch and don't have any followers, don't be alarmed. You can still get good reach on TikTok without any followers. But if you have 100,000 followers, this certainly helps, because that is a potential 100,000 people that will be exposed to your videos. On the internal search function, we primarily want to rank on the normal search function, especially because TikTok just launched ads in this section, so it's becoming more and more Google SERP-like. We also have the comment section search, but this is algorithmic. And this is the algorithm that scans the comment sections and looks for what are the people talking about. But as you might see here, it's not always accurate and it's not present on all comment sections. So our primary focus is in the normal search function. When doing TikTok and we want to get that on the search engines, we also want to remember that TikTok is not Google, and TikTok videos does not have to live up to the same requirements as Google content does. TikTok videos does not have to live up to any EAT criteria whatsoever. TikTok content only have to live up to what works on TikTok. And this is also important to remember when you do TikTok ads. We only want TikTok native content on TikTok. So, how do we do TikTok SEO? First of all, we need to do some audience research. This is fundamental in all things marketing. We need to know where our users are or if they are using the platform at all. TikTok is still very much a Gen Z platform, but we do see millennials and boomers joining each day. And with a wobbling plus 1 billion users each day, there is a huge potential in this platform. When we realized whether or not our audience is actually using the platform, we have to do some keyword research. We can use third-party tools for this, but keep in mind that most of them get their data from Google, and TikTok searches and Google searches are not necessarily the same thing. So what you can do is go onto TikTok and use that internal search function to see what is already trending, what hashtags, what tags, and so on are already trending on that platform. TikTok does have a keyword insights tool themselves, but it's mostly ads focused and not SEO focused. The third thing we need to do with that is when we know our keywords, we obviously have to optimize our videos and our profile for them. So use your keywords on screen, in on-screen text, on text posts, and remember to say the words out loud if you're doing a voiceover. TikTok will be listening. The fourth thing you need to do is you need to embed your TikTok videos on your website. If you have a blog post about talking about a subject that you also have some TikTok videos around, show those synergies to your users and make sure you embed your videos on the website. But only if it makes sense for you to do so. It's not in all, surrounding all products that this makes sense. The fifth thing is you need to find your own way to do it. TikTok users love the uniqueness of the platform, and doing TikTok is not a one-size-fits-all. You have to find your own way to do it, and you have to keep on posting because frequency is key. You need to keep pushing that algorithm so it doesn't forget about you. If you are starting completely from scratch and don't know where to begin at all, I have two approaches for you that you can choose. The first one is the persona approach exemplified here by Duolingo. I guess you all know this owl, I hope you do. This owl is known for being quite sassy and will go on to other companies' comment sections and roast them. This owl will also be going to Barbie premieres and tap into ongoing trends. So this is the face of the company. You don't necessarily have to have an animal or mascot for this. You could also just choose the same persons that will go in all your videos. If you don't have a person or a mascot to do this, you can choose the other approach, which is the subculture approach, exemplified here by Dyson Germany. Dyson has actively used the hashtags for hair talk, hair, and their product, and also the more generic FYP hashtag. Another clever thing that Dyson is doing here is they're both using the German language and the English language. We all know that Germans aren't that happy of speaking English, so they're both catering to the German audience, but also the global audience. If you're dealing with a market where it is not native English speakers, this is a great idea to make sure you're targeting both your local audience, but also the global one. What can TikTok do for our website? The case study that I have with me today is from Lidl in Denmark, one of the biggest supermarket chains in Europe. In January, two of the biggest TikTok influencers in Denmark posted on their For You pages that you could now get Asian products in stores, and they did this very low-key taste test where they're just showing off the products. These videos went completely viral. In Google Search Console, we could see that the period before the TikTok videos went viral, the searches for mochi ice cream were completely flatlined. No interest whatsoever on Lidl's domain. But as soon as those videos had gone viral, we saw a huge increase in both clicks and impressions on those searches. We also saw that the searches for mochi ice cream Lidl became one of the largest traffic drivers in that 6-month period. And that means a lot for a company like Lidl, where most of the searches are related to opening hours, locations, and offers from their little newspaper. So a product like this being so big was quite a huge thing. But going viral on TikTok was not expected at all, as there weren't any active decisions from Lidl's side, and this obviously led to some challenges. First of all, the website was not equipped at all to handle this traffic. There were no mentions on keywords on site at all. There were also no relevant landing pages for this traffic, What Lidl does when they have a campaign is they will make a product page for that product during that campaign, but as soon as the campaign is over, that page will be getting taken down again. So all of the searches that we had after the campaign period only led to the front page and became dead. The third challenge was that all of the products were sold out in store, in all of the Danish stores. I even tried myself going down to a couple stores in my city, and it was completely empty. And they couldn't get any more product before the campaign was over. So this obviously led to some dissatisfaction among customers in whole Denmark. We also saw in Denmark in general that searches for mochi increased 50% during February, but Lidl didn't get a 50% increase necessarily on those searches. So it's safe to say that Lidl was not the only one to benefit from this virality of the TikToks. The competitors most likely also got a lot of traffic from mochi searches during this period. But even though Lidl was not ready, the case still shows how impactful TikTok can be if you utilize it as a part of your SEO strategy and marketing strategy. Lidl have learned from this and will be taking TikTok a lot more seriously now, and they actually use the same influencers for a later campaign because they saw what an effect they actually could do with a very limited budget. So what I want you to take from this talk is you need to understand your audience, you need to find your keywords, and then you need to optimize your TikTok videos for them. You need to use your videos on site, and then most importantly, you need to be unique and keep on posting. And again, native TikTok content on TikTok only. We don't want to see your Meta or Snapchat or Instagram creatives going around on TikTok because the users do not like that. It has to be native TikTok videos, otherwise the users will be like, no, I don't want that. That's not TikTok. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, then please come up to me after the session. Thank you.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.